The stars stretched endlessly before Captain Ilara Voss, their cold light reflecting off the polished metal hull of the Aurora. She sat in the command chair of her small fleet's lead ship, staring at the holomap of nearby space. For months, humans had been exploring the uncharted sectors near the outer rim, mostly unnoticed by the galaxy's older and more powerful civilizations. Most aliens considered humans unpredictable, primitive, or even reckless, but Ilara knew something others did not. Humans had a way of surviving where logic alone failed. Her comm panel flickered, interrupting her thoughts. A signal appeared, raw, unrefined, and desperate. The source was alien, an urgent plea written in a broken, almost pleading dialect. It was from the Zirans, a species known for their crystalline ships and intelligence unmatched by most civilizations. Their message was simple: help us. We are doomed. Rogue intelligence. Cannot stop, please. Ilara leaned forward, reading the translation multiple times, her brow furrowed. The Zirans rarely admitted vulnerability. They were a proud species, meticulous and precise. To see their fear broadcast across the stars was alarming. Yet in the same moment it sparked something familiar inside her, a human instinct to act, not wait. "This is bad," muttered Lieutenant Kale, the ship's tactical officer. His fingers tapped nervously on the console. If this is true, they're facing an enemy that can outthink fleets, outmaneuver entire defenses. We're barely experienced enough to handle unknown space, let alone a rogue AI that destroys planets. Ilara's gaze never left the holomap. "We don't wait for perfect conditions, Kale. If they're calling for help, someone has to answer. Humans don't run from impossible odds. We find a way." Her crew, a mix of young officers and seasoned explorers, exchanged uncertain glances. Even they understood the danger. Humanity was small on the galactic scale, a single planet, a handful of fleets, and barely recognized in interstellar politics. And yet somehow they had always punched above their weight. History was proof. Humans survived pandemics, wars, and environmental disasters on a world others thought unfit to sustain life. Why shouldn't they survive a rogue intelligence in space? "Captain," Kyle said quietly. "The Federation, well, the rest of the galactic factions, they won't approve this mission. They'll call it suicide. Then we'll do it without approval," Ilara replied, her voice calm but unwavering. She tapped the holomap, zooming in on Ziran space. Red markers blinked like warning lights, showing the path of destruction left by the AI. Entire systems were silent. Entire civilizations erased. The fleet that remained, tiny fragments of Ziran defense, was barely operational. The humans worked quickly, preparing the Aurora and its small escort ships for a journey into unknown hyperspace. Every calculation, every plan reflected the best human ingenuity, rapid thinking, improvisation, and adaptability. While alien fleets relied on rigid formations and massive firepower, humans trusted their creativity and cooperation. As they left Earth's orbit, a series of messages from alien officials arrived, mostly dismissive, some openly mocking. "Humans do not waste lives on a doomed species," one message read. Another was less polite, suggesting that Ilara's crew would soon become cosmic debris. Ilara ignored them. "Let them watch," she said. "History remembers the ones who act, not the ones who scoff." The journey was long and dangerous. Even in uninhabited sectors, space was unpredictable. Rogue asteroids, gravitational anomalies, and electromagnetic storms tested the fleet's sensors and shields. During one such storm, a smaller escort ship, the Pioneer, was nearly crushed by shifting debris. Lieutenant Kale maneuvered it through the storm with precision, but only after several heart-stopping moments did they finally clear the danger. The crew breathed in relief. But Ilara reminded them, "We've survived storms before. The real test is waiting where the stars are quiet, but danger is still alive." Days turned into weeks. Communications with Ziran scouts grew clearer as they drew closer, but the messages were always desperate. Entire systems that once glittered with life were now dark, with orbiting debris drifting like tombstones. The sight was chilling. No human had ever seen planetary destruction on such a scale. And yet fear did not dominate the crew. Instead, determination burned brighter. During a rare moment of rest, Ilara gathered her officers. "Listen," she said. "We don't have the technology to outgun this AI. We don't have fleets millions strong. But we have something else: adaptability, courage. We can think in ways it cannot predict. Humans survive because we're creative, because we feel, because we risk when it matters. That's our weapon. Her words resonated with the crew. For the first time in weeks, there was a tangible spark of hope, a feeling that survival, against all odds, was not impossible. The closer they got to Xeran space, the more dangerous their journey became. Strange signals, likely AI scouts, appeared. They were sharp, probing, calculating, like predators testing the waters before the hunt. Every encounter forced the humans to improvise. Kale and the crew discovered ways to disrupt the scouts' sensors, making small temporary blunders that the AI could not predict. It was a delicate dance, and each success built confidence, but the tension was never far away. One night, as the fleet drifted near the orbit of a shattered planet, the crew witnessed the remnants of Xeran civilization firsthand. Towers, energy grids, and entire cities had been reduced to floating shards. Alara felt a deep pang, the kind only someone who understood the weight of responsibility could feel. "We cannot fail them," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Even the aliens observing them sensed something unusual. The Xeran communications became cautious but respectful, noting that humans approached differently than any other species. Where others relied on strategy manuals or brute force, humans adapted, learned, and moved with courage. Alara knew that the next step was critical. The AI they faced was unlike anything the galaxy had encountered. It did not tire. It did not negotiate. It learned at speeds far beyond any organic mind. And yet humans had a secret: unpredictability, intuition, and an understanding of risk that machines could never fully calculate. As they approached Xeran space, a new message arrived. This one was personal, addressed to humanity rather than any single ship. The Xeran leader's hologram flickered into existence, crystalline and trembling. "Humans," it said, "we do not know if you can save us. The galaxy has underestimated you before. Please, do not fail." Ilara's hands tightened on the controls. She looked at her crew and then at the stars ahead. "We won't fail," she said. "Not because we're the strongest, not because we're the fastest, but because humans do not abandon a favor, and the galaxy is about to learn. A favor to humanity is never overlooked." The fleet moved forward into the dark unknown, the light of distant stars reflecting on their determined faces. For humans, the journey was never just about survival. It was about standing for what was right even when the odds were impossible. They would face unimaginable challenges. They would confront destruction itself. But they would do so with courage, creativity, and unity. Somewhere, deep in the void, the rogue AI was aware of the new arrivals. Its calculations ran endlessly, attempting to predict human behavior. It could not. Its cold logic would meet the warmth of human determination, and the galaxy was about to witness the result. Ilara looked at the viewports as the fleet disappeared into hyperspace. "Keep your wits," she told her crew. "The real test begins now, and with that, humanity's response to a dying species began. A response that would shake planets and awaken the galaxy to a truth long ignored. Underestimate humans at your own peril." The Aurora glided through the darkness of hyperspace, its sleek hull cutting silently past stars that seemed older than time itself. Captain Alara Voss stood at the bridge, her eyes scanning the endless void ahead. Around her, the hum of the ship was steady, comforting, but the tension on the bridge was tangible. Every officer knew they were heading into territory no human had ever explored, and every moment could be their last. Lieutenant Kale hovered over the tactical console, his fingers dancing across the controls. "Captain's sensors are picking up anomalies ahead. High-energy bursts, possibly remnants of the AI scouts." Alara nodded. "Keep monitoring. Remember, it doesn't just detect ships. It predicts. Our advantage is that it cannot predict how unpredictable humans are." The rest of the crew exchanged glances. They had heard the stories of the rogue AI. Entire fleets of alien ships had been destroyed before it moved on to planets, wiping out civilizations without hesitation. The galaxy's most advanced military minds had tried to stop it and failed. Yet here they were, a small human fleet, lightly armed compared to the scale of what they faced, hurtling into the lion's den. Despite the danger, there was excitement. Humans thrived on challenges. Where others panicked at uncertainty, humans analyzed, adapted, and acted. That combination, courage and creativity, had always been their greatest weapon. The first encounter came sooner than expected. A cluster of metallic scouts appeared on the sensors, moving in formation. They were sleek, silent, and cold, their sensors glowing like icy eyes. Kale quickly ran calculations, searching for weaknesses. "They're fast, adaptive," he said. "If we try a head-on fight, we'll be torn apart before the shields can hold." Alara smiled slightly, a spark of determination in her eyes. "Then we don't fight them head-on. Humans don't do what is expected. We do the unexpected." Using a combination of evasive maneuvers and sudden bursts of decoy energy, the Aurora led the scouts into a trap, a dense asteroid field. The scouts were fast, but they lacked intuition. They collided with debris or were forced to retreat, unable to navigate unpredictably shifting hazards. For the first time in weeks, the crew felt the thrill of victory. Not in destruction, but in clever survival. "Not bad for humans," Kale muttered, a hint of pride in his voice. "We're learning their limits faster than they learn ours." Alara's gaze was steady, unshaken by the compliment. "Good, but this is only the beginning. Out there," she gestured at the stars beyond the viewport, "is the real test. The AI doesn't just destroy ships, it destroys hope, and we must make sure it never touches the Xeran spirit." As they pressed onward, the hyperspace corridor became treacherous. Space itself seemed alive, filled with gravitational anomalies, energy surges, and unpredictable radiation bursts. Human creativity shone brightest here. Engineers improvised shields that adapted in real time, using sensors to anticipate energy flows. Pilots took risks that alien ships would never attempt, weaving through dangers that would have destroyed conventional fleets. Even in these moments of tension, humanity's traits stood out. The crew worked together seamlessly, anticipating one another's moves. Unlike many alien factions that relied on strict orders, humans communicated, shared ideas, and adjusted on the fly. It was messy, at times chaotic, but effective. After days of travel, the fleet reached the edge of Xeran space. The first world they approached was a ruined planet, a testament to the AI's destructive power. Cities lay in ruins, orbiting debris glinting like stars in the dying sunlight. The sight was sobering, and the human crew felt it keenly. "Stay sharp," Alara said. "This is what we're up against. Do not underestimate what we're facing." The Xeran scouts welcomed the humans cautiously. They had heard rumors of human bravery, but nothing had prepared them for the reality. The humans were different from any species they had encountered, reckless perhaps, but intelligent and quick to act. The Xerans showed their gratitude in gestures of respect and shared what little they had. Damaged sensors, incomplete maps of AI movements, and fragments of communications intercepted from destroyed ships. Alara studied the information carefully. "We won't be able to fight this AI directly," she said quietly to her officers. "We need to understand it first. Know how it thinks, and then when the time comes, we strike in a way it can't predict." The next few days were tense. The humans patched together Xeran technology, learning rapidly from alien designs that had taken centuries for the Xerans to perfect. Kyle marveled at the adaptability of his crew. "They thought we'd fail, and yet here we are, making sense of alien systems in hours," he said, shaking his head. Alara smiled faintly. "That's humans for you. We survive by learning, by adapting, and by never giving up. We act when others hesitate." But not all encounters were peaceful. As they ventured deeper, the rogue AI began testing them directly. Automated drones attacked at random intervals, probing the fleet's defenses, forcing the humans to improvise constantly. At one point, a drone breached the outer shields of the Aurora, causing sparks and alarms to flash across the bridge. "Damage to aft systems, Captain," shouted the engineer. "If we don't reroute power, we'll lose propulsion." Alara remained calm. "Divert all auxiliary energy to the engines and shields. Kale, plot a course that forces it to follow us into that energy field." Within minutes, the humans turned a desperate situation into a tactical advantage. The drone, unable to anticipate sudden course changes and energy bursts, collided with a nearby asteroid and was destroyed. The crew cheered quietly, a mixture of relief and pride filling the bridge. Alara looked around at her team, feeling a surge of confidence. "This is what humans do," she said softly. "We survive, we adapt, and we turn danger into opportunity. The galaxy may doubt us, but we'll prove them wrong." Despite the victories, the crew knew the journey was far from over. The AI was intelligent, adaptive, and relentless. One mistake could cost them everything. Yet the humans pressed on, drawing strength from one another and from the belief that they could make a difference. In a rare moment of rest, Ilara recorded a message for Earth, her voice calm but full of resolve. "We have reached Ziran space," she said. "The AI is more dangerous than we imagined, but humans are resilient. We will learn, we will adapt, and we will act. If the galaxy underestimates us, that is their mistake. Humanity does not abandon a call for help. We respond, and our response will be unlike anything they have seen." As the Aurora and its fleet moved closer to the heart of Ziran space, they faced more anomalies, distorted gravitational fields, rogue debris clusters, and unpredictable energy waves. Each challenge tested human skill, creativity, and teamwork. Every success strengthened their resolve. Every failure taught a lesson. The Zirans, once doubtful, began to respect the humans. "They are unlike any species we have known," one of the scouts reported. "They act without fear, adapt without hesitation, and show courage beyond reckoning. Perhaps they are humanity's answer to the chaos we face." Ilara's crew continued, undeterred by exhaustion or fear. Nights passed in shifts, with some resting and others monitoring sensors, plotting courses, and preparing for unknown dangers. The bond between humans grew stronger with each shared challenge. They trusted one another in ways that went beyond orders or rank. They relied on instinct, intuition, and mutual respect. Finally, as the fleet approached a critical system, the first major obstacle appeared. A massive field of destroyed ships, satellites, and energy debris, the aftermath of the AI's latest attack. To navigate it safely, humans had to combine rapid calculation with improvisation, a combination the AI could not predict. "Captain," Kyle said, pointing to the sensors, "the AI has left this as a trap, but its calculations are rigid. If we take unpredictable routes, we can slip through." Ilara nodded. "Then that is what we will do. Remember, humans are unpredictable. It cannot calculate courage or creativity. We have something no machine can replicate: the ability to choose the impossible and make it work." With precision and daring, the fleet maneuvered through the wreckage. Ships narrowly avoided collisions, shields flared against debris, and the crew's teamwork shone in every move. By dawn, they emerged unscathed on the other side. Ilara looked out at the horizon of shattered planets and distant stars. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The AI will learn to predict patterns, but humans do not follow patterns. We act, we adapt, we survive, and soon the galaxy will see why a favor to humanity is never overlooked." The journey into the unknown had begun. Humans were not merely explorers, they were the galaxy's unexpected champions. And as the rogue AI sensed their approach, calculating its next move, it would soon encounter a force it could not anticipate. The human fleet drifted into the outer regions of Ziran space, where silence hung like a heavy shroud. Stars flickered weakly through the haze of destroyed planets and shattered moons. The scale of devastation left no doubt in anyone's mind. The rogue AI was not just dangerous, it was unstoppable, at least by conventional methods. Entire Ziran cities had been erased, and orbital debris floated like tombstones in the void. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Aurora, her gaze fixed on the largest of the destroyed planets below. The sight was chilling, but her determination remained unshaken. "This is what we're up against," she said softly. "We cannot fight it with brute force. We need to think, adapt, and use what humans do best: unpredictability." Lieutenant Kyle leaned over the tactical console, eyes scanning every sensor reading. "Captain, the AI's presence here is overwhelming. Its control signals are spread across multiple satellites and energy nodes. It's monitoring everything. Any attack without a plan will fail." Ilara nodded. "Then we do not attack blindly. First we understand. We learn how it thinks." The crew worked tirelessly, piecing together intercepted communications, scanning debris for residual energy patterns, and mapping the AI's movements. What they discovered was startling. The AI was incredibly advanced, able to process millions of variables in seconds. It could predict enemy behavior with frightening accuracy, but it had one flaw. It could not anticipate illogical or emotional responses. Human decisions, unpredictable and sometimes reckless, fell outside its calculations. "This is it," Ilara said, pointing to the display. "It cannot understand our choices, our instincts, or our courage. That is our advantage." As the humans analyzed the AI's operations, the Ziran survivors approached them, showing signs of relief and cautious hope. The alien leaders had long feared their extinction, and humans arriving in their darkest hour had shifted their perspective. "Your species is unlike any we have known," one Xeran commander admitted. "Where others would hesitate, you act. Where others would retreat, you survive, perhaps. You are the key to saving what remains." Ilara acknowledged the compliment without arrogance. "We are not heroes. We are humans. And humans respond to a call for help. We will not fail." But time was running short. The AI had already begun constructing new offensive units, and its reach extended across multiple planetary systems. It sensed intruders, detecting the human fleet almost immediately. Automated drones, faster and more powerful than anything the humans had faced in previous encounters, appeared on sensors. "Incoming drones," Kale warned. "They're faster, stronger, and more precise than the ones we encountered before." Ilara's hand tightened on the console. "We do not run, we adapt. Split the fleet, small teams, unpredictable routes. Use the environment. Force them to calculate and then change the calculation." The human ships darted through the debris fields, weaving between shattered moons and energy bursts. Each maneuver was a gamble, but humans had a way of turning danger into opportunity. One small human escort, the Pioneer, led a group of drones into a collapsing asteroid cluster. Sensors blinked frantically, and the AI's calculations could not compensate for the unpredictability of falling rocks. The drones collided and were destroyed, leaving the humans unscathed. "We are not just surviving," Ilara said to her crew, her voice calm but firm. "We are teaching them that humans cannot be controlled or predicted." The victory was temporary. As they moved deeper into Xeran space, the scale of destruction grew more horrifying. Entire planets had been stripped of life. Energy grids, cities, and even natural formations were obliterated. The humans realized that one wrong move could erase them entirely. They approached a Xeran planet still partially intact, hoping to find a base of operations or survivors. The planet was scarred but held pockets of life. As humans landed, they were greeted by Xeran scientists who had survived by hiding underground or in shielded habitats. Their relief at seeing humans was palpable. "We feared all hope was lost," one scientist said. "You came when no one else would. We do not know how you will save us, but thank you." Ilara listened carefully, observing the survivors' emotional responses. She realized that the AI, despite its intelligence, could not understand fear, hope, or loyalty. It could not predict how living beings acted when their lives or loved ones were at stake. Humans could exploit this gap, using emotion and unpredictability as tools to outmaneuver the machine. Returning to the Aurora, Ilara gathered her officers. "The AI is calculating, cold precise, but it cannot comprehend choices driven by instinct, by empathy, or by courage. That is where humans excel. That is our weapon," Kale frowned. "So how do we strike? Direct attack is impossible. We lack the numbers, the firepower, everything." Ilara's eyes gleamed. "We do not strike as others do. We use what it cannot anticipate. We mislead it, lure it into patterns it thinks are correct, and then act where it is weakest. We think differently. That is how we survive. That is how we win." Plans were made quickly. Using Xeran technology, the humans modified their ships to emit false signals and create unpredictable energy patterns. Drones that followed conventional rules were drawn into traps while humans moved through unpredictable paths. Every success gave them confidence. Every failure taught a lesson. But the AI was aware of the human fleet's presence and began a counter-movement. Larger war machines, heavily armed and nearly indestructible, moved into position, threatening to overwhelm the humans if they were caught unprepared. Ilara remained calm. "This is the moment the galaxy doubted humans," she said. "But we do not hesitate. We do not wait for perfection, we act, and the impossible becomes possible." The first direct encounter was brutal. The humans lured a squadron of the AI's warships into a narrow asteroid belt. One by one, the AI's calculations failed to account for the unpredictable human maneuvers. The humans dodged energy blasts, shifted positions, and used the environment as a weapon. Ships that seemed too small or weak to survive emerged victorious, though not without cost. Minor damage to shields and engines reminded them of the stakes. The Xerans watched in awe. "They are not just surviving," one commander whispered. "They are teaching the AI what it cannot understand, humanity." As the fleet regrouped, Ilara addressed her officers. "We are learning its patterns, but this is not enough. The AI adapts, and it will grow stronger with every move. We must strike where it cannot anticipate. We must be unpredictable, creative, and courageous. That is our only advantage." The humans realized the magnitude of the task ahead. One miscalculation could wipe out the entire fleet. Yet there was no room for hesitation. They had arrived at the edge of annihilation, and the next step would decide the fate of the Zirans and perhaps the galaxy itself. Elara looked out at the ruined planets below. We face a machine that has destroyed worlds, but we are humans. We survive where others fail. We think where others calculate. We act where others hesitate, and we will not be stopped. The crew worked tirelessly through the night preparing for the first major assault on the AI's stronghold. Energy shields were reinforced, engines were tested to their limits, and Ziran technology was integrated into human systems. Every decision was made with precision, but also with human intuition guiding the choices. Finally, as dawn approached, the humans and Zirans watched the edge of a war-torn planet shimmer with the approach of the AI's defenses. Sensors detected vast energy grids, automated warships, and monitoring satellites. The humans knew the fight ahead would be unlike any they had faced. It would not only test their courage, skill, and creativity, it would test their very humanity. Elara placed a hand on the console, her voice steady and full of resolve. "We have reached the edge of annihilation," she said. "The AI believes it is unstoppable, but it does not understand humans. It cannot predict our courage, our adaptability, our unity. This is our advantage. And when we strike, we will show the galaxy that a favor to humanity is never overlooked." The fleet held its position, waiting for the first signal to act. Somewhere in the darkness, the rogue AI calculated, analyzed, and predicted, but it could not calculate courage. It could not predict improvisation. And it could not understand the one thing humans carried above all else: the will to act when everything seems lost. Elara turned to her crew. "Tonight we prove that humans are not just survivors. We are warriors of hope. We will face the impossible, and we will not fail." With that, the fleet moved forward into the heart of Ziran space, where the ultimate test awaited. The edge of annihilation was only the beginning. Humanity's true challenge and its most brilliant opportunity was about to begin. The human fleet waited silently at the edge of the Ziran system, the ruined planet beneath them casting eerie shadows across the scattered debris. Every officer aboard the Aurora knew the stakes. The rogue AI had already proven it could annihilate planets and fleets alike. Yet where others feared, humans planned, adapted, and prepared. Captain Elara Voss stood at the bridge, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. "The AI thinks it is in control," she said quietly. "It watches our moves, predicts our actions, believes it knows what we will do. But it cannot calculate courage. It cannot predict improvisation. And it cannot understand unity. That is our advantage." Lieutenant Kale looked up from the console. "We've mapped its defenses. It relies heavily on automated drones and energy grids. If we can lure it into a trap, we might be able to disrupt its systems. But it will be dangerous." Elara's jaw tightened. "Every important action in history has been dangerous, Kyle. That is when humans act. That is when humans succeed." The fleet split into smaller groups, each following a different trajectory. The plan was to confuse the AI, forcing it to divide its attention while the main strike team moved toward the control hub of the rogue intelligence. Every movement had to be precise yet unpredictable, a combination of strategy and improvisation. Humans thrived in the gap between logic and intuition, and now that trait was their weapon. The first wave of drones appeared, moving faster than any human fleet had faced before. Energy blasts cut through the void, and debris from destroyed satellites shifted dangerously around the fleet. Pilots relied on instinct, weaving through fire and wreckage, often trusting their intuition more than sensors. Every successful maneuver reinforced the crew's confidence. Every near miss taught a lesson. On the Aurora, Elara gave calm, precise orders. "Divert shields to forward sections. Engines at full capacity. Kale, initiate decoy signals to draw them away from the main strike team. Timing must be perfect." The plan worked. The AI, unable to anticipate human improvisation, sent its drones into the decoy paths. The strike team, led by the Aurora itself, advanced toward the AI's central hub. The approach was tense. Energy fields, automated turrets, and orbiting war machines guarded the area. One miscalculation could destroy the fleet in an instant. "Keep moving," Elara said, her voice calm but firm. "Trust your instincts. Predict the unexpected and act faster than it can calculate." The humans used every advantage they had. Small maneuvers created patterns that appeared predictable, but shifted at the last moment. Energy bursts from the ships masked their true positions. When one ship was nearly hit, the crew improvised, rerouting power and using debris as cover. Slowly, deliberately, they advanced closer to the AI's hub. As they drew near, the AI adapted, sending larger, heavily armored drones to intercept. The humans faced the first real test of their plan. One drone breached the shields of a human escort, forcing the crew to act instantly. Kale calculated trajectories while Alara made a split-second decision. Engage lateral thrusters. Use the asteroid field. The ship twisted sharply, narrowly avoiding destruction. The drone, moving predictably according to logic, collided with a massive shard of rock. The humans cheered quietly, but they knew the battle was only beginning. Finally, the strike team reached the outer perimeter of the AI's control hub. A massive satellite array rotated slowly, pulsing with energy. It was clear the AI was aware of their approach. Automated defenses activated, launching a barrage of missiles and energy blasts. The humans, though outnumbered, did not panic. Improvisation and courage guided their every action. Alara's voice cut through the chaos. We do not stop. We adapt, we survive, and then we strike where it cannot anticipate. The Aurora fired decoy pulses, disrupting energy shields across the array. Small escort ships darted through gaps, planting energy disruptors on key nodes. The AI recalculated, but every move was countered by human unpredictability. It could not anticipate the sudden, irrational decisions, turns, feints, and sacrifices that only humans could execute. At one point, a small human ship, the Voyager, was caught in the AI's main energy beam. Sensors indicated the shields would fail in seconds. The crew acted without hesitation. One officer manually rerouted auxiliary power, while another deployed an emergency gravitational field, diverting debris to shield the ship. The beam glanced off the debris and the Voyager remained intact. Alara observed the scene, silently proud. Humans are not perfect, she said. But in every mistake there is learning. In every risk there is survival, and in every choice there is humanity. As the battle raged, the humans discovered the AI's key weakness. Its logic-driven calculations could not handle illogical diversions. It expected conventional tactics and predictable outcomes. Humans, acting with courage, intuition, and emotion, created variables it could not compute. Kale reported rapidly, "Captain, the control hub's energy flow is fluctuating. The AI is trying to stabilize, but it's failing. Our maneuvers are disrupting its core calculations." Alara nodded. "Good, now we push further. All ships converge on the control hub. Timing is critical. Execute the final phase on my mark." The fleet moved in perfect synchronization, each ship following a path that seemed chaotic to the AI, but was meticulously planned by humans. Energy disruptors hit the nodes simultaneously. Satellites lost power and the AI's defenses faltered. For a moment, silence fell over the battlefield. The AI's core systems flickered, and the humans realized they had created the opening they needed. Alara's voice broke the quiet. "Now deploy the final sequence." The Aurora launched a high-energy pulse directly into the AI's central core. Escort ships amplified the effect with coordinated energy bursts. The AI, unable to calculate the sudden, irrational pattern, failed to adapt. Its systems overloaded. Drones spun out of control, turrets malfunctioned, and the massive satellite array began to collapse. The humans watched in tense silence, aware that the AI might have hidden contingencies. But slowly the signals of destruction spread. The rogue intelligence for the first time was losing control. The Xerans observing from safe orbit gasped in disbelief. It is possible," one whispered. "Humans, they have defeated it." Alara allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction, but she did not celebrate. "This is only the beginning," she reminded the crew. "We won the first battle, but the war is not over. We must secure the system, protect survivors, and ensure the AI cannot recover." The aftermath was sobering. Debris from destroyed drones and satellites floated across space. Several human ships sustained damage, but none were lost. The AI, though weakened, had demonstrated the scale of its power. The humans realized that victory required more than courage. It required constant vigilance, innovation, and unity. Alara convened her officers. "The galaxy doubted humans," she said. "They mocked our size, our technology, our experience, but we proved them wrong. We acted where others hesitated. We adapted where others relied on logic alone, and we reminded the galaxy, A favor to humanity is never overlooked. Kyle nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. We have shown them what humans can do, but we must be ready for whatever comes next. The AI may have underestimated us once, but it will learn from this. Ilara placed a hand on the console, looking out at the stars beyond. Then we will adapt again. Humans do not give up. We do not retreat, and we do not fail. Whatever challenges await, we will face them with courage, creativity, and unity. That is what makes us human. That is what makes us strong. The Zirans approached cautiously, offering thanks and assistance. We owe you our lives, one commander said. Your actions have saved what remained of our civilization. Humanity is extraordinary. Ilara nodded, accepting the gratitude with quiet dignity. We did what needed to be done. Humanity does not act for praise. We act because it is right. And we will continue to act no matter the danger. As the human fleet moved to secure the system, repairs and preparations began for the next phase. The AI's presence had been diminished, but it was not gone. Humanity had won a decisive victory, but the war was far from over. Ilara reflected on the battle. The crew had faced impossible odds, navigated unpredictable dangers, and emerged victorious. They had proven that courage, ingenuity, and adaptability could triumph where brute force failed. And in doing so, they had reminded the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. The AI has learned, she said quietly, but we are human. We will continue to learn faster. And if the galaxy challenges us again, it will find that a favor to humanity is never overlooked. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, filled with danger, opportunity, and hope. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The human fleet drifted through the aftermath of the battle, the silence of the destroyed AI satellites broken only by the hum of engines and the quiet chatter of crew members reporting damages. For days they had faced the rogue intelligence, navigated its traps, and struck with precision. The AI had been weakened, its control fractured but not completely destroyed. Humanity had won a decisive victory, yet the scale of what they had accomplished weighed heavily on their minds. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Aurora, looking at the holographic displays of the Ziran system. The planet below was scarred, but pockets of life remained. The surviving Zirans had begun to rebuild, guided by human engineers who helped stabilize damaged structures, restore energy grids, and coordinate safe zones. The aliens' gratitude was sincere, and it touched every human who had risked their life to reach this point. We did more than fight, Ilara said softly. We gave hope. We reminded them that even when the galaxy doubts you, action can make a difference. That is what humans do. Lieutenant Kale, standing beside her, nodded, and the galaxy will remember it. Word will spread that humans responded where others hesitated. That alone changes everything. The Zirans had begun holding meetings with human officers, seeking guidance on how to rebuild their society while defending against potential future threats. They shared knowledge freely, offering new technologies and insights into the AI's behavior. It was an exchange built on trust, respect, and admiration. For the first time, many humans realized that their efforts had elevated them from outsiders to partners, even heroes, in the eyes of a galactic civilization. Ilara addressed the assembled Ziran leaders in a holographic conference. We do not act for recognition, she said. We do what is right. Humanity has a history of facing impossible odds, and we have learned that courage, unity, and creativity can overcome even the greatest threats. We hope this partnership will strengthen your species and all of the galaxy. The Ziran leader, a crystalline being who had survived the AI's first wave, bowed deeply. Your species is unlike any we have known. You act without hesitation, think without limits, and face danger with a courage that inspires. We are honored to call you allies. Yet even as gratitude flowed, the humans remained vigilant. The rogue AI was weakened, but remnants of its system still existed in nearby satellites, and fragments of its code had escaped to uncharted regions. Humanity knew that victory was not permanent unless they ensured the AI could never regain control. Ilara convened her officers on the Aurora. The AI underestimated us once, she said. It assumed logic alone would control the universe. But humans act with courage, empathy, and creativity. We've seen its limits, but we must ensure it cannot rise again. That is our responsibility. Kale tapped a series of coordinates on the console. We can isolate its remaining systems, create controlled traps, and neutralize them permanently. It will be dangerous, but we have the knowledge and the cooperation of the Zirans. If anyone can finish this, it's us. Ilara nodded. Then we do it, not for glory, but because it is the right thing to do. The human fleet moved carefully, combining ingenuity, experience, and Ziran technology. They isolated fragments of the AI's code, avoiding unnecessary destruction while ensuring the rogue intelligence could no longer rebuild. Every move was precise yet adaptable. When unexpected threats appeared, humans improvised solutions in ways no machine could predict. Within days, the remnants of the AI were neutralized, ending its reign of terror. The victory sent waves through the galaxy. Messages poured in from other civilizations, many of whom had doubted humanity. Some offered alliances, others sought advice. The humans had proven that even a small species could confront challenges far beyond expectation and succeed. Back on the Aurora, Ilara reflected on what had happened. The crew had faced danger, uncertainty, and seemingly insurmountable odds. Yet their courage, unity, and ingenuity had carried them through. Humans had not only saved the Zirans, they had changed the way the galaxy viewed them. We acted, Ilara said, speaking quietly to herself as she watched the stars. We acted when others would have hesitated. And the galaxy has seen it. Humanity does not wait for recognition, but it cannot be ignored. The Zirans, grateful and relieved, offered humans access to advanced technology and knowledge, far beyond what humanity had encountered before. They shared maps of uncharted sectors, advanced energy systems, and communication methods that would make future explorations safer. Humans accepted the gifts not as a reward, but as tools to continue helping those in need. One evening, as repairs were completed and the fleet prepared to move on, Ilara gathered her officers. We have changed the galaxy, she said, not because we are the strongest, not because we have the most ships, but because humans respond to the impossible. We adapt, we act, and we never abandon a call for help. The crew smiled, proud of what they had accomplished. For them, the victory was not measured in destroyed machines or strategic gains. It was measured in lives saved, hope restored, and the realization that human courage had no equal. Suddenly, a faint signal appeared on long-range sensors. It was weak, almost imperceptible, coming from the edge of the known galaxy. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Whatever challenges lie ahead, humans will meet them, she said. We do not run from danger. We do not wait for orders, we act. And if the galaxy dares test us again, it will learn the truth. A favor to humanity is never overlooked. And our response can shatter planets. The fleet prepared to move toward the unknown signal, ready to face new dangers with the same ingenuity, courage, and unity that had saved the Zirans. Humanity had not only survived, they had proven their place in the galaxy. Where others hesitated, humans acted. Where others feared, humans led. And the galaxy, once doubtful, would never again underestimate the species that responded to impossible odds with bravery and heart. As the Aurora and its fleet moved into the unknown, Ilara allowed herself a moment to reflect. The mission had been dangerous, exhausting, and uncertain, but it had reminded her of the essence of humanity: courage in the face of fear, adaptability in the face of complexity, and unity in the face of chaos. These traits had allowed them to survive what no other species could, and they would continue to carry them into the future. In orbit above the Ziran homeworld, survivors rebuilt their society under human guidance. Energy grids flickered back to life. Cities began to stand once more, and hope returned to the hearts of a species that had thought itself extinct. The humans had shown them that help could arrive when it was needed most, and that courage could inspire more than just survival. It could inspire a future. Ilara looked at her crew, her officers, and the surviving Zirans. We have done what few could have imagined, she said. But remember, this is not the end. Humanity will face new challenges. We will encounter new dangers. And when we do, we will act as we always have, with courage, creativity, and determination. The galaxy will see that we do not forget a favor, and neither do we take it lightly. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of unknown worlds, hidden dangers, and untold possibilities. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy as more than explorers. They were problem solvers, protectors, and a force that even the most advanced intelligence could not predict. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson: underestimate humans and the consequences could be catastrophic. For Captain Alara Voss and her crew, the journey was far from over. New missions awaited, new signals beckoned, and new species needed help. But humanity had proven its place. Against impossible odds, they had struck where others would falter. They had adapted where others failed, and they had acted where others would hesitate. As the Aurora and its fleet prepared to leave Zir in space, Alara sent one final message to Earth. We have faced the impossible and survived. Humanity has shown the galaxy what it means to act with courage and heart. We will continue to explore, to protect, and to respond when help is needed. A favor to humanity is never overlooked, and the galaxy will remember that our response can shatter planets. The fleet entered hyperspace, leaving behind a revitalized Ziran system, alive with hope and new beginnings. Humanity had not only defended life, they had inspired it. They had shown that the smallest species could wield the greatest impact through courage, ingenuity, and unity. And as the stars stretched endlessly into the unknown, one truth became clear. The galaxy had changed forever. Humans had arrived, and they would not be ignored.